Hey guys, Peteplayed back here again with another Starfield guide, and today I've got my second build guide, and this is the Agent 47 Assassin build. I'd like you to take a look at the damage against the level 98 Elite. Pretty OP, I'd say. Here's level 74. Now let's get into the build and character creation. Let's start off with our character creation as always. Let's make him muscular, thin, and body type 1. Walk style 1, and skin tone will be 1. And next up, our facial features. Skin tone is 1, head shape will be 6, hair is 1, hair color none, facial hair 1, facial hair color none, eyes 8, eye color 7, eyebrows 9, eyebrow color 14, forehead 10, nose 1, ears 1, cheeks 6, mouth 9, teeth 1, jaw 11, chin 11, neck 1, jewelry 1, jewelry color 1, dermostatic 1, complexion color temp 1, complexion blemishes 1, scars 1, facial forms 5, facial forms 2, tattoos 1, cheeks 1, cheeks 2, lipstick base 1, lipstick accents 1, eyeshadow upper 1, eyeshadow lower 1, eyeliner upper 1, eyeliner lower 1, and dirt 1. Next up we have our background guys, and for this we're going to pick Ronin, because as you can read, you're masterless and unbound. You wander the settled systems as a blade for hire. To some, you were simply a mercenary, to others a hero, and to a select few, a nightmare they could never wake from. This is just more of a lore towards the assassin character, and plus we really need stealth. I will give you now an option that you can pick if you don't like this one, which will be the Cyber Runner. Here's the Cyber Runner. We still have stealth here, which is what we really need. But this time we've got security and theft. It is up to you. I prefer Ronin because of the background lore that it has. Next up is our traits guys. We're going to pick Introvert because we've been traversing alone, and Neon Street Rat. Neon Street Rat is optional. You can pick another one if you prefer. I just like the quests in Neon and the background. The third trait is completely optional. I would recommend kit stuff if you want an early pistol, which I'll show and explain just now. But yeah, the traits pretty optional here and up to you really. I recommend go with Introvert and Neon Street Rat. And here's the kit stuff trait guys. As I mentioned, you can get the Sir Livingston pistol if you pick kit stuff. You can get it from your parents. You can pretty much do it within the first hour by selecting kit stuff and starting the game, but it is up to you which third trait you will pick, as the traits in this build are kind of optional and up to you really. It can be anything you like. Well, this is a pretty OP build. It is centered around role-playing as well, so the traits can be adjusted to your liking according to your role-playing style. Onto the build and skills guys. Firstly, I'd like to note that this build is a level 60 build. It's quite an endgame build. However, I've split it into two down to level 30 where the build is also viable. So if you're not level 60 but are level 30, you can still make use of this build. You're going to have multiple rank 4 skills. The first one is going to be stealth, being at rank 4 because we need it to be more stealthy of course. And we're going to be 100% more difficult to detect. Suppressed weapons will do more damage. Since we're going to be only using suppressed weapons, this is going to be very beneficial to us. And lastly, opening doors will no longer attract enemies, which is going to be great for our stealth gameplay. Next up is our Pistols certification, which is going to be our second skill we're going to get to rank 4. This is to increase our crit hit chance for 5 seconds with pistols, and since we're going to be using pistols as our secondary weapon and primary weapon for up close, this is vital in our stealth build. And of course, the damage increase from the previous ranks. Our third skill we're going to get to rank 4 is going to be of course sniper certification. Since we're going to be primarily using snipers outside, we're going to be aiming down on their scope, so all the ranks here are beneficial since we're going to be primarily using scopes all the time. Additionally, at rank 2 we can hold our breath longer with scope weapons. This is going to go well with our fitness skill which we're going to pick up, And of course, at rank 4, we're going to do 50% more damage while using the scope. Our fourth rank 4 skill is going to be ballistics. Since both of our weapons are ballistical, we would like the skill in order to increase their damage and range, of course, when sniping. Now, before going into the other skills, guys, I'd like to touch base on some of the other skills from the other trees, which are not going to be rank 4, and then one of them is going to be fitness. Fitness is going to give us more oxygen. Having more oxygen is going to allow us to sprint longer, and of course, it's going to allow us to aim down the scope much longer. Another skill we're going to be taking is gymnastics, primarily to unlock the combat slide ability, and we're going to get another rank in order to progress to allow us to unlock concealment. Concealment is of course going to be at rank 4. This is to allow us to no longer set off enemy mines, range attacks to do more damage, running while sneaking doesn't affect stealth, getting the chameleon-like ability, which is going to be very useful, which you see now. Engaging stealth also causes distant enemies to lose us. Ranged sneak attacks do 4 times the normal damage, and our melee sneak attacks do 10 times normal damage. While we're not really going to be using melee attacks, we're constantly going to be range sneaking. So that's very beneficial for us, and this is a must-have. Our next rank 4 skill from the combat tree is going to be armor penetration. This is so our attacks can ignore the target's armor, since most enemies in Starfield have armor. This is extremely beneficial. Additionally, at rank 4, the enemy armor is decreased by 25% for 6 seconds after a crit. We have a lot of crit in our build, so this makes it even more beneficial and a must-have. Next up from our combat tree is going to be another rank 4 skill. This is going to be sharpshooting, and this is where most of our crit is going to be coming from. As you can see, at each rank we get increased crit damage to each body part of the enemy. And finally, our ranged critical hit attacks increase our crit hit chance with all ranged weapons by 25% for 20 seconds, making this a very beneficial skill since we want to be one-shot killing people. We will also be taking marksmanship, whilst not at rank 4 but rank 2. This is going to add to our crit stacking, both ranks increasing our crit hit chance with non-automatic range weapons by 3 and 8% respectively. This is beneficial because our sniper is of course not automatic. Going back to the social skill tree, we are going to be getting isolation, of course, since we're going to be traversing alone. Since we're a hitman, of course, we're going to get rank 4 to do 40% weapon damage and gain 60 damage resistance for each spacesuit and helmet equipped when we don't have a companion or any crew. This is beneficial for us, as I said, since we're going to be soloing. And keep in mind that we're going to be using our famous Agent 47 suit, but when outside we do still need a spacesuit and helmet, so this is still beneficial for us, even when not role-playing as Agent 47. Going back to the build as a whole, guys, you can see the breakdown of each level and skill to pick here. As I said, it goes up to level 60, and it is an endgame build, but still viable at level 30. Now, you're probably wondering why the science skill is filled with rank 4 skills, and this is going to be explained just now in the weapons and spacesuit section, and it's just going to allow us to upgrade our weapons and spacesuit to the max, benefiting from all the ranks respectively and upgrades to make our stealth build and gameplay even more powerful. We also have some skills from the physical tree that we have picked in order to get to concealment rank 4. As you may know, that in order to reach tier 4 in each skill tree, we need to have spent 12 skill points, and this is why we have picked the skills we have picked there. Primarily you need to pick stealth, of course, in the physical tree, 4 out of 4. The rest of the skills are up to you. However, I recommend going with fitness, weightlifting and gymnastics. Very beneficial since we're very nimble and we're always on the move. For the social skill tree, we get 1 free point of scavenging, and the rest I've picked commerce and persuasion rank 2. This is in order to get to tier 2 and unlock isolation, since we need that to be at rank 4. So for tier 1, the skills that I've picked, as I mentioned, are commerce and persuasion. This was my choice. I find this beneficial, but if you like, you can pick for example 3 ranks of commerce and 1 rank of persuasion, or more of scavenging, and so on. It is up to you on the first tier, as long as we unlock tier 2 in order to get to isolation, of course. And finally, for the tech tree, we have boost pack training at rank 1. This is of course completely needed in order to traverse in the space environment of Starfield. Next up, we've got our weapons and mods, guys. Let's start off with the weapons. We have a couple of choices here. I would advise going with the hard target, the suppressed XM2311 pistol, which is gained from the first contact quest. I have a full guide on how to get this weapon. I'll put it on the top right. And for a melee weapon, just in case, so you have, is the Tanto. This is a preference of your choice. I prefer the Tanto because I like the look of it being assassin-like. We do have alternative options for the weapons, which are the Marksman AA-99, the Advanced Old Earth Hunting Rifle, and Sir Livingston Pistol. As I mentioned, for the traits, if you pick the kid stuff, you can get this in the first hour of the game. All the weapons, such as the hard target, the AA-99 rifle, and the Old Earth Hunting Rifle, and the Tanto, can all be obtained from vendors in New Atlantis, so they're very easy to get. Now, of course, you can get legendary ones, epic ones. However, the point of the build is to get you going from the start, so not to tell you to go ahead and farm for hours elites just so you can get specific legendary. So get these weapons from the start, from the vendors, so you can get going with the build, modify them, and later on, if you find legendary ones with the fixes, feel free to use them. Next up, we've got our weapon modifiers, guys. Remember, when buying weapons from the vendor, they will not come with any modifiers. However, as mentioned, you can find modified of these weapons along the world of Starfield, legendary, epic, rare, or common ones. And here are some modifiers to look out for, such as hitman to increase the weapon damage while aiming, instigating to do double damage to targets with full health because we want to get those one shot one kills, rapid to increase the attack speed, and anti-personnel to increase damage versus humans, as there are a lot of human targets around the world of Starfield. So keep a lookout for these modifiers when hunting down legendary or epic variations of the weapons we're going to be using. Next up, we have our weapon mods, guys, and as mentioned, this is the reason why we have all those rank 4 skills in the science skill tree, mainly the research methods being rank 4, weapon engineering being rank 4, special projects being rank 1, and of course spacesuit design being rank 4. Let's take a look at our weapon mods first, starting off with our rifle, which is going to be our sniper rifle, the hard target. For the barrel, we're going to have the fluted barrel, which is going to be a lighter barrel and is going to increase our accuracy and recoil control. For this, we need barrel mods level 1. Our laser is going to be the recon laser sight, which is going to mark enemies while aiming and is going to increase our accuracy. For this, we need optic and laser mods level 3. For the optic, we're going to have the long scope for the max magnifying view of 6.5, and for this we need optic and laser mods level 2. For the muzzle, we're going to have the suppressor, obviously to reduce our sound that the weapon makes while shooting, but it's also going to increase our accuracy at the cost of some range, which is fine. We need muzzle and mods level 2 for this. For the grip and stock, we're going to have the tactical grip, which is going to increase our aim down, sight speed, reload speed, and stability, which is an all-round great mod. For this, we need grip and stock mods to be at level 1. And for the magazine and battery, we're going to have the penetrator rounds to increase our damage, and it's going to be able to pass through multiple enemies so you can get those multi-shot kills. For this, we need magazine and battery mods level 3. And finally, our high-powered internal mod, which is going to increase our damage done exponentially, for which we need internal mods level 3. Going over to our pistol, which is going to be the suppressed XM2311, which we got from the first contact quest. It's going to rename itself to Assassin's XM2311, so it's going to suit our playstyle and roleplay quite a bit. For the laser, we've got the laser sight, which is going to help with target acquisition and increase accuracy. The optic is going to be the short scope. It's going to have 2 times magnifying view, for which we need optic and laser mods level 1. The muzzle is going to be the suppressor, which is going to increase accuracy at the cost of range, but that is fine. Muzzle and mods level 3 is required for this mod, be mindful. The magazine and battery is going to be, of course, the armor piercing rounds, which can penetrate through the sturdiest of armors. It's going to go well with the armor penetration skill, and for this we need magazine and battery mods level 2. And for the internal, we're going to have the high powered mod, which is going to increase all damage done, and for this we need internal mods level 3. And that's going to be it for the weapons, guys. Next up is going to be our armor and mods, guys. For the spacesuit, we're going to go with the Deep Seeker spacesuit. It's very cool looking and stealth like for the character we're playing. This spacesuit can be bought from a vendor. You can also find it. We're of course going to mod it with these modifiers with our skills that we got from the science skill tree. Do be mindful, you can find this spacesuit around the world of Starfield with a couple of modifiers. Let's take a look at what modifiers you should be looking out for should you be hunting for a legendary or even an epic version of the spacesuit. For the suit modifiers, if you're looking to get a better version of the suit, you should be looking for Chameleon, which is going to blend with the environment and give you that stealth skill when not moving, going to make you invisible. The O2 filter is going to go with our fitness skill very well, minus 25% oxygen consumption, so you can run more, and mechanized for the extra carry capacity. Never hurts to have some. So this will be the suit modifiers you should be looking for when trying to better the Deep Seeker spacesuit if you're trying to look for example, a legendary version. Now onto our spacesuit modifications, guys. As mentioned, you will need spacesuit design level 4 for these mods. For the Deep Seeker skip pack, we've got hazard protection on slot 1, which is going to increase resistance to airborne, thermal, corrosive and radiation hazards. You can go with extra capacity if you prefer. This mod is going to require pack mods level 3, be mindful of that. For slot 2 we're going to have regeneration to slowly regeneration health outside of combat, and this also requires pack mods 3. And finally for the boost pack, this is preference to your choice. I prefer the skip capacity boost pack to have low duration, high intensity output, but sacrificing boost to height for mobility, as I like to be more mobile when running around. Pack mods level 2 is required for this. For the helmet, in slot 1 we're going to have ballistic shielding to increase damage resistance. For slot 2 we're going to have sensor array to increase the range for enemy detection on a compass. Helmet mods level 2 is required for this one. For slot 3 we're going to have heavy shielding, which is going to increase all damage resistance again, and helmet mods level 3 is required for this. Slot 4 is going to be gravitic composites, which is going to reduce detection from enemies, perfect for stealth gameplay. Helmet mods level 3 is required for this one. And finally for our spacesuit, in slot 1 we're going to have ballistic shielding again to increase damage resistance. Slot 2 is going to be optimized servers to reduce oxygen cost for sprinting, going well with our fitness skill as well. Spacesuit mods level 3 is required for this. Slot 3 is going to be heavy shielding, again to increase our damage resistance in case we get hit. Space mods level 3 is required for this. Slot 4 is going to be gravitic composites, again to reduce our detection from enemies. And spacesuit mods level 3 is going to be required for this. This is going to be perfect for our stealth gameplay like we have on our helmet. And that's going to be it for spacesuit mods, guys. And finally onto our apparel, guys. This is going to complete our Hitman and Agent 47 look. For this we're going to be needing the Franklin Roosevelt outfit, which is a reward for completing the Operation Starseed quest. There is a couple of choices in that quest. I'm not going to go into any spoilers, but you can get the outfit from that quest as long as you pick a certain choice for the quest outcome. Onto our 8 items, guys, and this is going to be 3 of the best items for stealth gameplay, mainly the Infantry Alpha for the 25% increased range damage and plus 25% weapon accuracy for 2 minutes, the Panopticon for the plus 40% range damage, plus 35% weapon accuracy and minus 50% movement noise, all for 3 minutes, very overpowered. And finally the recon stim for the minus 30% movement noise for 10 minutes, so we can sneak around as much as we want. Next up is going to be our Starborn powers, guys. Primary one is going to be Sense Star Stuff, which is going to channel the power to detect all life around you for a duration. This is extremely helpful, so you can basically see the enemies through walls. Here is an example. Our alternative option is going to be Void Form to warp the light around us and become nearly invisible for a short duration. This is also useful, but I prefer Sense Star Stuff, so I'd advise you to go with that. Here is a representation of Void Form as well. And that's going to be for Starborn powers, guys. Sense Star Stuff is going to be great for stealth gameplay, so is Void Form. Both are going to be extremely useful to you during your stealth gameplay. And some final notes here, guys. Stealth is a bit wonky in Bethesda games, however with this build I don't think you're going to have a problem. It is extremely overpowered. Playing a stealth character is always been one of my favorite playstyles in Bethesda games, even though stealth isn't the best in most Bethesda games. Nevertheless, this is an extremely fun playstyle. I hope you have fun with it, hope you enjoy the build, and most of all, have fun being Agent 47 in Starfield and space. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the guide, please consider giving it a like and subscribing if you enjoy my content. I'll keep on making more guides and builds. Hope to see you in the next one, and bye for now. Leaving you with some gameplay.